wants Singapore to consider daily commuting for its workers. Full EPF withdrawal at the age of 55 remains. Good afternoon, thanks for joining us, and you're watching Updates at Noon. I'm Jessica Lee. Malaysia has asked Singapore to consider allowing Malaysians working in the Republic to commute daily between the two countries. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said he has conveyed this to Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong during a telephone conversation discussing the possible reopening of the two countries' borders, where they both agreed that the reopening of the borders should be done cautiously based on certain guidelines. Through his Facebook page, the Prime Minister said Malaysia was also prepared to work with Singapore to ensure that the proposed reciprocal green lane to facilitate movements between the two countries could be finalised soon. He said they also touched on the periodical commuting arrangement, or PCA, between Malaysia and Singapore, which, if implemented, would facilitate cross-border travel for the peoples of the two countries. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said both countries were confident that issues of SOPs and health protocols, which were being fine-tuned by the relevant ministers, senior officials and health experts of the two countries, could be worked out soon to support the proposal to reopen borders. He added that any decision on this agreement, however, is subject to the level of preparedness of both countries regarding the aspect of the capacity to implement COVID-19 screening and swab tests. The Health Ministry will carry out follow-up checks on discharged COVID-19 patients every 3 months to monitor their antibody levels and lung health. Health Director General Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said this is due to the fact that there is no guarantee that recovered patients cannot be reinfected.
Kita lihat jangka kajian untuk jangka pendek dan jangka panjang. Jadi kita nak tahu sama ada kerosakan paru-paru tak. Setiap 3 bulan juga kita akan mengkaji, iaitu antibody untuk pesakit-pesakit yang telah pun discharge. Dan kalau kita lihat pada kajian lain, jadi bukan daripada kita, tetapi telah dimaklumkan iaitu antibody tersebut mungkin tak bertahan, iaitu lepas 8 minggu dia semakin berkurangan.
In the same development, Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said the discharged patients will be provided with counselling sessions to educate them on the methods to prevent infection. On another note, the Health Ministry has reported another fatality due to rabies. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said this brought the cumulative number of rabies cases in the state to 24, including 23 deaths since the rabies epidemic was declared on July 1st, 2017. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said the victim was a 62-year-old man from Sibu, Sarawak, who passed away in Sibu Hospital on the 23rd of June. He said the victim started to feel weakness in his leg and suffered constipation since 16th of June before being referred and warded in Sibu Hospital on the 19th of June for further treatment. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said the rabies infection was confirmed by a laboratory test conducted by the Institute of Medical Research on Thursday. He advised the public, especially people in Sarawak, to always take preventive measures if they were bitten, including cleaning the wounds with running water and soap for 15 minutes to remove the effects of saliva and to get immediate treatment. He also urged the public to obey the instructions of the authorities so that Sarawak can be rabies-free. Village Surau committees can seek approval from district religious officers to carry out ibadah korban, or animal sacrificial rites, in larger spaces during Hari Raya Aidil-Adha should their respective surau compounds are deemed too small for the ritual. The senior minister, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, said the government will consider allowing suraus the permission for that purpose so that social distancing and other SOPs could be followed.
Jadi kalau mereka tak nak buat di masjid kerana tersurau, di kampung tidak ada masjid tetapi ada surau saja, dan kompaun surau terlalu kecil dan mereka nak mencadangkan satu tempat yang lebih luas. Jadi mereka perlu memohon kepada pejabat agama daerah untuk mendapatkan kelulusan dan kebenaran dan mereka boleh menggunakan tempat tersebut. Saya percaya banyak kampung kawasan suraunya terlalu sempit kalau nak buat di dalam kompaun. Jadi kita boleh benarkan. Tapi seperti saya kata, tempat yang diluluskan dan dibenarkan oleh pihak berkuasa agama tempatan, jadi boleh mohon kepada pejabat agama lah.
On Wednesday, the government announced that Ibadah Korban activities can be held at all mosques, suraus, and areas allowed by the religious authorities. The Kampung Baru Development Corporation, or PKB, has been asked to prepare a report on whether it can proceed with the existing offer to redevelop Kampung Baru. Federal Territories Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said he would inform the Cabinet for follow-up action after receiving the report from the corporation. The minister said the report should be prepared objectively as he did not want to create misunderstanding or allow the issue to be politicized. He added, should the redevelopment plan fail to be implemented, the government will try to renegotiate with the residents to find an alternative approach. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Anwar said KL Central, Perdana Botanical Gardens, Heritage Park and Taman Tugu will be upgraded to become main recreational areas. He said the main works of the 100 million ringgit Taman Tugu upgrading project undertaken in collaboration with Khazanah Nasional Berhad are almost complete. Kedah State Government has requested for the federal government to relocate Rohingya refugees outside Langkawi. Menteri Besar Muhammad Sanusi Mohamad Noor said the arrival of the refugees might affect the tourism industry of the island, which is in its recovery phase.
Seperti yang saya sebutkan tadi, mereka perlu dipindahkan ke satu lokasi lain yang lebih sesuai. Sama ada mereka dihantar pulang ataupun mereka ditempatkan untuk sementara di mana-mana pusat tahanan sebelum proses penghantaran pulang dibuat.
Previously, on the 8th of June, a total of 269 Rohingya refugees were detained after they attempted to enter national waters near Langkawi. All detainees have been temporarily placed at Kem Bena Negara Wawasan Langkawi, waiting for deportation process. Still to come, government may set ceiling price for chicken. Voters for the Chini state by-election who received a voter's card are expected to abide by the encouraged voting time information contained in the document when going out voting on the 4th of July. Election Commission or EC Chairman Dato' Azhar Azizan Harun said this was to avoid voters gathering in excessive numbers at any one time and to enable social distancing to be practiced when at the polling centres. Dato' Azhar in a statement said voters who have received their voters' cards can immediately continue to the voting channel by showing their voters' card along with their identity card. He said voters who did not receive the voters' card could check their voting information before the polling day. He said the check could be made through the pengundi.spr.gov.my web portal or by calling the EC hotline or through the My SPR Semak application or by sending a short message via SMS to 15888. The government will not hesitate to impose a ceiling price for chicken if suppliers and traders keep raising prices for no good reason. Deputy Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, Dato' Rossul Wahid, said the ministry was aware of public complaints with chicken being sold at a very high price at some wet markets since last month. Dato' Rossul said the government would be meeting industry players to make a full review of the situation, including the production costs said to be the reason behind the price hike by suppliers. He said traders claimed that they had to pay a higher price to suppliers after being told of a shortage in supply due to the movement control order. Meanwhile, a total of 529 notices have been issued to chicken traders and wholesalers nationwide. Dato' Rosol said based on 73,841 inspections carried out at public markets since 18th of June, 9 traders and wholesalers have been issued with 4,000 ringgit compounds for not displaying the price tag. The Employees Provident Fund, or EPF, has assured its members that the issue of raising the withdrawal age has not been discussed with any party at this point in time. The EPF, however, said it has taken note of the World Bank's suggestion to gradually raise the age when members can make a full withdrawal of accounts 1 and 2 of their EPF retirement savings from 55 to 65. EPF in a statement stressed that it approaches major policies concerning members in a very prudent manner, including conducting in-depth studies and engagement with its members and key stakeholders. This is to ensure that members' well-being is always at the forefront in carrying out the EPF's mandate. Previously, in the World Bank's Malaysia Economic Monitor report, the bank recommended that the government strengthen the adequacy of all age income protection by gradually increasing the minimum withdrawal age for EPF Account 1 balances to 65. The World Bank also recommended the conversion of contributions to EPF Account 2 to retirement savings, mandate a phased withdrawal for EPF balances, and improve social assistance for older persons through a modest, broadly targeted social pension. Human Resources Ministry has called on recruitment agencies to register any foreign workers' intake to the Home Ministry. Its Minister, Datuk Sri M. Saravanan, said this is to improve the foreign workers' intake system as well as to coordinate the employment sector in the country.
Kita masih perlukan bantuan daripada pekerja asing. Kita mengkaji, kita akan memberikan kebenaran mengikut keperluan dan kehendak semasa. Pada masa yang sama, walaupun agensi-agensi lain seperti CIDB, MAIDA dan sebagainya ada kelonggaran untuk mengambil pekerja asing, saya telah meminta Kementerian Dalam Negeri supaya mereka mendaftar melalui Kementerian Sumber Manusia supaya kita dapat mengawal. Kalau tidak, kita tidak akan tahu berapa ramai pekerja asing masuk dalam negara, sama ada sektor tertentu ataupun terbuka.
S&P Global Ratings, or S&P, affirmed its A- long-term and A-2 short-term foreign currency sovereign credit rating, as well as its A long-term and A-1 short-term local currency ratings on Malaysia. Now, Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said the negative outlook reflects the expectation that Malaysia is facing risks of a further deterioration in its fiscal settings related to the COVID-19 pandemic over the next 24 months. In a statement, Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul said most of the measures introduced under the Prihatin and Penjana packages are either one-off or temporary, which will not have a permanent impact on government finances in the medium term. However, the Finance Minister said through Prihatin measures like wage subsidy programs and soft loans for SMEs and businesses, more than 2.4 million jobs have been saved, while 800,000 businesses and micro SMEs have been supported. The government expects to empower over 2.6 million people through upskilling and reskilling opportunities, as well as wage and hiring incentives, and support over 300,000 businesses. He also said that the Prihatin and Penjana economic stimulus packages worth 295 billion ringgit are expected to contribute more than 3% to Malaysia's GDP growth in 2020. Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul said the government is also focused on preserving fiscal discipline to maintain the systemic strength and integrity of the economy and to ensure Malaysia has the ability and capacity to quickly rebound when the economy recovers. He added that in the medium and longer term, the government remains committed to its fiscal reform agenda and will resume its fiscal consolidation effort once the global economy recovers. In the foreign front, UNHCR urged to work with ASEAN in expediting refugees' resettlement. Now, Malaysia has urged the international community to stand in solidarity with Palestine amid Israel's plans to annex parts of the occupied West Bank. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said Malaysia strongly rejects and condemns the plans outlaid by Israel, and which its Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said was an extension of Washington's new peace deal.
Malaysia is deeply concerned over the fate of the Palestinians amidst the continued volatility in the Middle East. Malaysia strongly condemns and rejects Israel's recent announcement to implement its plan to annex part of the occupied Palestinian territory in the West Bank. The illegal and unilateral actions by Israel clearly calls into questions its sincerity towards a peaceful and lasting solution to the long-standing Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Malaysia has long championed a two-state solution based on the pre-1967 borders, with East Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine. Israel's unity government, formed between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his political rival Benny Gantz in May, inked an agreement that will allow Israel to initiate legislation to annex large parts of the occupied West Bank starting 1st of July. West Bank, including East Jerusalem, has been under Israeli occupation since the 1967 Six-Day War. It is estimated that about 700,000 Israeli illegal settlers are in the occupied territory. Previously, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, at a virtual meeting of the Security Council, has called on Israel to scrap its plans to annex parts of the occupied West Bank. In other developments, Malaysia also called on the United Nations Commissioner for Refugees, or UNHCR, to work closely with ASEAN to expedite the resettlement process of UNHCR cardholders to third countries. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said Malaysia can no longer take more refugees as its resources and capacity are already stretched and compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yet Malaysia is unfairly expected to do more to accommodate incoming refugees. Despite Malaysia is not being party to the 1951 Refugee Conventions and the 1967 Protocol relating to the status of refugees, we have provided humanitarian assistance to the Rohingya refugees and other refugees from Myanmar. But this situation cannot continue forever.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin also asked ASEAN to find an effective solution for the refugee crisis. The Prime Minister also said that ASEAN must adopt a comprehensive approach to combat and contain the irregular movement of people to seriously prevent, suppress and punish trafficking in persons where human trafficking syndicates exploit the vulnerability of refugees. On Malaysia's position regarding the South China Sea, the Prime Minister said it has been clear and consistent with views that it should remain a sea of peace and trade.
Malaysia's position has been clear and consistent. Recognizing the complexities and sensitivity of the issue, all parties must continue to work together to maintain peace, security and stability in the South China Sea. In these times of adversity, it is imperative that we intensify efforts to build, maintain, enhance mutual trust and confidence for the benefits of a region and people.
Thus, he said matters relating to the South China Sea must be resolved peacefully based on universally recognized principles of international law, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS 1982. And that concludes today's edition of Updates at Noon. In our top story, Malaysia wants Singapore to consider daily commuting for its workers. Now join us again at 7 p.m. for more updates on the latest happenings around the world. Thank you for watching. I'm Jessica Lee.